Absolutely. And it's interesting because sustainability has been a really inherent part of the ANA for a long time, but a few years ago, we redefined it to fall within these three pillars that you mentioned. The first one is focused around society, where we're including inclusive innovation, DEI, and driving growth in a diverse population. The second pillar being planet, all things related to the environment, sustainability, and the growth opportunities presented there. And then our third pillar is around well-being and the role of marketing in building a culture where people feel seen, feel supported. And the kind of umbrella and also underpinning of all of that is that all of this comes down to how marketing drives growth. For us, these topics really can't be discussed without bringing into context the ANA growth agenda, the different ways that marketing serves a really unique purpose within organizations to connect the dots between different aspects of an organization while also influencing trends, consumer behavior, and culture overall. And so we really bring that planet and society work together to not only use a new lens to identify ways for organizations to innovate by bringing marketing into the fold, but also to, look at insights differently, use that as a growth driver, and also benefit the planet and the people that we serve.
Well, that sounds like a pretty broad and overwhelming agenda, or at least it does to me,
There's
which
always a lot to do.
which also sounds a lot like why marketing has, become so much more complex in that,
Mhm.
it reaches so many of these issues. But I think that one of the things that you're doing to make this all a little bit more manageable is you're also providing a variety of frameworks and resources that help marketers in these areas. But before we talk specifically about that, I'm just curious, what do marketers tell you? Um, what do they say is their greatest sustainability concern?
It's like you said, there's a lot in this universe, and so it is always hard to narrow down to one thing. But I will say, in the context of the last year in particular, where we've seen this kind of pendulum swing away from or towards a kind of sensitivity of language in marketing, is uh, a way that brands are looking to continue to do work related to inclusive innovation and sustainability while not playing in the wrong area of that space. So, it's interesting. I think there's a really strong growth opportunity, like I mentioned before, for marketers in particular by bringing this lens to the conversation. But it's also a space where, you have to be careful in the way that you go about doing that work. And so, the way that we address that concern is really by thinking about where there is opportunity to, really just expand your market, meet your consumers where they are, serve the needs of each consumer group, which comes about in different ways. The good news in facing the challenge is that authenticity really does make a difference. And it's funny to always return back to these kind of basic principles of brand building. But, what I mean when I say authenticity is that it's not just about using your voice or purpose in a way that feels authentic, but it's also moving away from, to a degree, a lens of advocacy per se to a more growth oriented approach, since that's the core purpose of marketing as a function.